first lecture in the year, and I suppose for the people that haven't been before, it'd be nice just as a bit of an introduction as to why I run them and why I do them and that sort of thing. The idea is that you can walk away from the next 2 hours with something. Even if it's just one thing that you can write in your books, and that's what those books are there for. Even if it's just one thing that you can go, oh, I think I'll go and use that. I feel like I've done my job. Hopefully, there's more than one thing. Maybe there are a couple of things. And possibly engage in relation to things that challenge you. So if I say something that you kind of go, huh, what's that about? Engage with it. Say, well, explain. Because often somebody that's got a challenge, it's very useful for them to talk about it for themselves, but also for the group. My first question is, what is being in line? What does that mean to you? And obviously, for those who've been to the lectures, we kind of try and get some stuff up on the board. So, what does being in line mean? My interpretation, my meaning is being congruent. Now, we've said all these things, and it's interesting. They're all a variety, and it's well varied, which is great. But my idea is to be congruent. And the fascinating thing about congruency is that we are going in the right direction for us. That, in essence, it's kind of, we're all lined up. Now, just by saying we are all lined up, it would seem that there's more than one. Yeah? We. Not, because we're all lined up with ourselves. So, I suppose I'm saying, well, what are we lined up with? What is that we need to be lined up with? We don't have to get weird here, it's nothing weird. But if it's we are lined up with ourselves, what are we lining up with? Anyone?
Aspirations.
Yes. Put that over there.
Values.
Yeah. Put that over there. Because ultimately that's what we are lining up. But very often what we're doing day to day doesn't seem to fit with who we are. Have anybody had that experience?
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day.
So you mean like being in line with the true you?
Being in line with the true you. Okay? So maybe if we put there conscious, and the other part is subconscious. Okay? So, everybody happy with that as a concept? Conscious and subconscious. And, for some people it's like, I don't know. Other people, they're very happy with that as a concept. We've studied this quite sufficiently to realize that there's a conscious part of us, and then there's definitely a subconscious part. And it would appear that the subconscious part, there's more to us than the conscious part. Does that make sense? So the conscious part to me is about dealing with day-to-day stuff. Washing, cleaning, maintenance, doing repairs, that sort of stuff. That's very conscious. So, then what is the subconscious stuff? Because we can do that. We can do the conscious stuff. We can maintain, we can feed ourselves, we can clean the house, we can do those things that we need to do. What is this part? What is this part? Any ideas?
Imagination.
Yeah, there is an aspect of imagination there.
It's not the part that makes you truly happy.
It is the part that makes you truly happy. And when do we get in touch with that?
When we make the effort to get in touch with that.
Yep, when we make the effort.
Sometimes just when you stop and listen.
Yeah, we need to stop and listen. Maybe I just need to throw it out. Conscious is straightforward. Subconscious tends to have many facets, many aspects. And I think that's where I'm driving at. And I suppose my question is, how would we see those aspects?
The soul?
Yeah, to me, if we use that word, it's fine. It's just that that's kind of all-encompassing. So there may be aspects to the soul, which is fine. So, but what are those aspects? How do they apply to us? What do you do when you get home? What role do you play? Right. And then when you leave home? And then when you go out?
A friend or whoever.
Okay. And are those very conscious things? Do you go, right, I'm going home now, I think I'll be mum? You do? Or is it more like, oh gosh, here we go? Yeah. Okay, so some people are quite conscious about that. But in actual fact, it is a role. But we have many roles. Let's maybe just make a little bit of a list of a couple of roles. We've got mum, yeah, which is quite a common one.
Wife?
Sorry?
Wife?
Wife, yeah. Which is quite a different one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lover?
Lover.
Daughter.
Daughter. When we are in these modes, headspaces, we operate at certain types of values, certain kinds of levels, if you like. Almost energetically, they can be quite different. So, I suppose we must be really clear that we've got this sort of conscious, subconscious, and then we've got divisions within this. And if we're going to get in line with that, we've got to first of all be conscious or have some consciousness, and then we've got to get in touch with our different roles. Some of those roles we're in denial of. Some of those roles we don't even know we have. We may not have got to that point where we go, well, actually, I think I'm going to... I mean, Thomas, you've got 6 children, haven't you?
Of course.
Yeah? I mean, we haven't got to a parent role. Some of us haven't got to a grandparent role. Penny? No. Yeah, so do you know what I'm saying? Those roles we will have to embrace at some point. And, you know, some people will take on roles that are in conflict with one another. So maybe employee or boss and mother. Or mother and wife. Those can be even in conflict, bizarrely. Or mother and lover. It's like, how do I do that now? Just wiped a snotty nose and now I've got to go and do this? You know, it's kind of a bit bizarre, potentially. What's that?
Wipe another snotty nose.
Well, okay. But do you see what I'm saying? So we've got conscious, subconscious, and then within this we've got divisions. So the first question, and maybe we can do this as a group effort, is for you to list roles that you have. Use your buddy, preferably someone you don't know. So, I mean, unless you feel that you need to, that's fine. But because actually it's different. It's a bit different. And connect with someone and just make a list for yourself, and possibly have a little couple of minutes into action on the different roles that you may have. There can be jobs. So I'm a doctor, or a healer, or an accountant, or that's a role. You know, I'm an administrator, and then but this role over here is HR. It's another role, and it requires a different aspect of us. Have you ever had that situation where you're busy doing something here, and it's like, hang on, I'm just going to change gears and go over and do this, and then you go back to this person, and it's like, you know what, I can't do it. Anybody? Joan's going, yeah, no, I get that.